Welcome to PTI, Dr. Tharoor. Elections have been announced to Kerala, and the time for campaigning is very less. Now, in such a scenario, how do you assess the UDF's chances?
Well, look, there's no doubt that we were taken aback by the very, very early date, considering that under the Constitution, the Kerala Assembly only needs to sit on the 23rd of May, which means that voting could have been any time up to about the 8th of May. It's quite shocking that it's happening on the 9th of April, especially since the announcement itself was much later than usual. It was only on the 17th of March. So basically, the Election Commission has given us about 3 weeks for the campaign. In fact, most parties have not fully announced their slate of candidates yet. The nominations are going to come in by Monday, the 23rd of March. And suddenly, you're going to have these nominated candidates having to face the electorate on the 9th of April. It seems, at the face of it, almost designed to favour the incumbent governments with the CPM in Kerala, the BJP in Assam, and the local party in Puducherry, which are the three states that are voting on the 9th of April. CPM is obviously very happy because the LDF has 99 incumbent MLAs and most of them have been renominated. So the result is that they have no familiarization work to do there in their own constituencies. People have seen them in action for 5 years. Whereas our candidates will have a record short time to go familiarize themselves with the electorate and to seek the blessings of the voters. In these circumstances, it's more uphill for us. But on the other side of the fence, there's 10 years of anti-incumbency against the LDF government. There's spectacular failures, financial crises, corruption scandals, all sorts of issues that have turned voters off the present government. And on top of that, if the Congress party and the UDF allies can project a positive vision for Kerala of the future, I think we should be able to win this election still.
It wasn't the ideal build-up to these elections, as in for the Congress in the run-up to these polls. You were upset over certain issues. Then you met Mr. Kharge and Mr. Gandhi, and things were ironed out. So now everyone's on the same page. All your issues have been addressed?
Look, I mean, my issues are essentially irrelevant to the state. I'm not a candidate in the state election. It was more a question of being part of the team effort, and I'm very much part of the team effort. In fact, I'm co-chair of the campaign committee.
So what is the mandate that has been given to you? What is your specific role in these elections? You're an MP from Thiruvananthapuram, but what is the brief that the leadership has given to you?
Well, what I was doing in any case was helping with some of the ideation. I was chair of the manifesto committee last time around, so I said this time let somebody else do it, but I've been sharing my ideas with the current chair of the manifesto committee. Secondly, on the campaign committee, I've been joining the other members in regular online meetings, even while I've been attending Parliament. We usually have these meetings at night, so there have been plenty of opportunities to consult each other, for example, the campaign slogan and so on. And then we've got the opportunity to actually go out and campaign. So I'm leaving, I'm abandoning the last couple of weeks of the Parliament session, and I'm travelling to Kerala from this weekend right up to voting day. And I expect to hit all 14 districts. But in the very limited time available, the much more ambitious schemes I had in mind will have to be truncated. There's only so much time in a day. But I'm hoping particularly to reach out to youth, to professionals, to special interest groups in the state, and of course do as many general public events, press conferences, all of that. It's a mixed bag of a role. But because I don't have to worry about any one particular constituency, I should be up and down the length and breadth of the state.
There are a number of senior leaders in Kerala Congress, so all of them are now on the same page. We saw a picture of, in fact, a video of you when Rahul Gandhi was visiting. All of you were having lunch together, so all on the same page, all good now?
I think so, yeah. I mean, yes, certainly that visit from Rahul Gandhi was a very good one. He also made a memorable speech in Thiruvananthapuram where he said that Kerala dances are very attractive and I think all the Kerala leaders need to dance together, which was, I think, a good message to give. And I think everyone is dancing together. Look, in all politics, there are bound to be some, people pursuing specific interests and having specific ego issues. No one can deny that these things exist in politics, and not only in our party, in all parties. But having said that, I think we are determined that this result has to be different from the last two. We in the UDF have really begun to feel the sting of watching the malfeasance and the misgovernance that has been the lot of the state for the last 10 years, particularly the last 5 years. And I think we want to see this done with.
Now, on the LDF side, there is a definite figure of Pinarayi Vijayan.
Yeah.
He's been the CM for so long. While on the UDF side, there are a number of competing faces, prominent faces, so to say. You are there. There's Mr.
I'm
Venu.
not there. I'm not even a candidate.
There's
But
Mr.
no,
Venu. Well, what I meant was that there are a number
There are
of
a
faces
number
for
of names
campaigning.
always,
There is
yeah.
Mr. Chenni Thala is there, and Mr. Satishan is there. So, do you think that in times like these, when the electorate favors a sort of a presidential sort of an election, not having a face could affect the chances?
Personally, I tend to agree with what you said in the sense that we could have gone that route. But as was pointed out to me by the party leadership, the Congress has never done that. They have chosen to take the approach that the election is for a party, and that once the party has won, it will choose its leader, which means, in effect, the High Command, having consulted the elected MLAs, will choose a leader. Now, you and I may have a different view. In my own case, I've been watching the evolution of elections in our country. And even though we are a parliamentary system on the face of it, in practice, all parties are run presidentially and all elections are conducted in that way. So for there to be a situation where you don't have a visible leader in a state, inevitably tends to hurt you. But having said all of that, let's see, the Congress party has a wide footprint. It has a deep resonance right across Kerala. It has a presence in every mohalla, every village, every ward. And that gives the Congress party the ability to deliver results not around an individual face or a name, but around an agenda, around a mission, and around the party logo. And I think that is still something which in Kerala is possible. It may not be the best recipe elsewhere. And certainly in Assam, I think it's very clear that Gaurav Gogoi is our face. In other states, we've had similar sort of visible leaders. But in Kerala, this is the way we're going to do it. And because of our depth and strength in Kerala, I think this is one state where maybe we'll be able to get away with it.
I would like to ask you one question directly, Dr. Tharoor. Is Dr. Shashi Tharoor a CM probable?
No. I'm not, for all sorts of good reasons, including the fact that I'm not a candidate, and I think that ideally the CM should be picked from one of the elected MLAs.
So what are the specific issues you think that would be crucial in this election? And is the anti-incumbency factor the biggest one that the Congress's main plank would be based on?
No, I think our plank is much more positive. I think it's about Kerala 2.0. Yes, there is an anti-incumbency element. One of our key campaign slogans is "It's time for an accounting." It's time for an accounting of everything that the government has done wrong. But in addition to that, there is a very positive message saying we will, for example, we've delivered 5 specific guarantees, from free travel for women in buses to improved pension payments, which is something that the left front government has consistently failed to do. But in addition to that, there's also broader vision. For example, the manifesto is yet to come out, but amongst the ideas that I've been advocating very strongly in the state is to open up the environment to business. We in Kerala cannot remain reliant on remittances, lotteries and liquor, which is essentially what is keeping the state going. Do you know that we actually spend more money on debt servicing, interest on debts, and on salaries and pensions than we do on all of our development projects put together? It's a disgrace. The state government runs out of money to pay salaries by September. They're borrowing money even to pay their regular salaries. This sort of stuff simply cannot do now. You need responsible management, but you can't do it by taxing your people. We're already the most highly taxed people in India. Highest property tax, highest stamp duty, highest various state levies. What we need now is revenue to be generated by new businesses, new ventures. And I have lots of ideas. The Congress and the UDF have a lot of ideas for new things we can do that have not been tried so far.
I would also like to know your views on the BJP in the state. Now, the BJP did well, especially in your constituency in the local polls.
Yep.
Now, do you look at this election still as a bipolar contest between the UDF and the LDF and the BJP being a marginal player, or now is it a triangular contest in the Kerala?
Now, it's not a triangular contest. The BJP is a zero-seat party in the assembly. From zero, if they go to 1 or 2 or 3, they'll be extremely proud and happy. They'll congratulate themselves on a great win. That's the situation the BJP is in. So they're not even likely to have a big enough footprint to be a kingmaker in the state. It's going to be between LDF and UDF, there's no doubt about that. Having said that, it looks at the moment, according to the polls, to be fairly tight. And therefore, every seat counts, every vote counts. And therefore, we're not discounting the BJP or being complacent about it. But we're not seeing them as a threat to the government or as a potential party of governance. No. The best they can do, as I say, is to break their duck.
So you would say that they are still a marginal player in terms of Kerala politics?
That's right. I mean, you remember it takes a certain percentage of votes to win a seat. And they have gone, in my time in politics, which is now just over 17 years, they've gone from being a 6% party to being a 12-13% party, which is not a bad thing. And certainly in the Lok Sabha elections, they have gone as high as 19%. But when it comes to state assembly, they again fall to about 12-13. If they can improve on that, that'll be slow and gradual, but it won't be anything like the kind of figure that it takes to win a seat. You can't win a seat anywhere without at least 35% of the vote in that seat. Now, there are only 1 or 2 places in Kerala, 2 or 3 tops, where they could even be in contention to get that kind of number.
So, just last couple of questions on Kerala. What is your prediction, Dr. Tharoor? What is a magic number that you would like to place your
Well, I
bets
think
on?
our predictions at the moment from my colleagues in the UDF have ranged from 85 to 100. And we should obviously aim for the higher number and do our very best. But you know, this is out of 140. As far as I'm concerned, anything above 72 or 73 is good news. But 85 to 100 sounds good.
We've just won the World Cup, so one question in cricketing analogy, is the UDF ready to face the Googlies from the BJP and the LDF?
I think we're bowling the Googlies ourselves, particularly to the LDF, because they have a lot. They're on a sticky wicket and we can catch them on that.
So just now 2 questions on a separate topic. I would like to ask just one question on the Iran, US and Israel conflict. How do you look at that conflict, and do you see that India's response has been adequate? As some have pointed out that we should have condemned the Supreme Leader's assassination. So,
well, I don't know about condemning it, but we should certainly have condoled it. After all, the spiritual leader of a country with which we have friendly relations, it would have been appropriate the day it happened for us to express public condolences and share the grief of his loved ones and of his nation, just as 2 years ago when President Raisi was killed in a helicopter crash, we immediately, as you know, issued a condolence as well as announced national mourning. That, I think, something analogous to that could have been done. It is true that the moment the Iranian embassy opened the condolence book, the foreign secretary went and signed it. And that is a good thing. But I think, yes, you're right. We could have been a little more, it's just simply the courteous thing to do for any countries. President of tomorrow, somebody in a faraway country we had not even such closer relations, were to be such a victim. I think it would be odd for us not to express condolences. But apart from that, I think I understand the government's desire to take a very, for lack of a better word, cautious stand. We have enormous stakes in what's going on. We have, of course, our energy security is dependent on the situation in the Gulf. We have oil, gas, especially LPG and LNG imports, on which we are very dependent. We have 9 million of our citizens living and working there who are an important source of remittances and whose safety and well-being is naturally a national priority. We have investments coming to us from countries like the UAE and Saudi Arabia, and we have a very important overall trade relationship, as well as geopolitical interests, security cooperation, all of that. You don't want to see that jeopardized. And so for us, the peace and stability of the Middle East is extremely important, of West Asia is extremely important. On top of that, it's already affected our own people in our own country. There are dhabas closing down because of shortages of gas cylinders. There are situations where my friends in Hyderabad are saying no one can cook halim anymore because it's a slow cooking dish. There are challenges now in the coming election campaigns. Where are we going to stop for a chai if the chai wallas don't have LPG cylinders anymore? I mean, I'm not joking. These are genuine concerns that are affecting the average Indian kitchen, the average Indian household. And though for the moment there's no panic at the petrol pumps, if this war carries on for another 4 to 6 weeks, we don't know how much further the consequences could reach into all our daily lives. So we want it to end, and I would really hope that the Indian government could stand up and take a public call to both sides to end this war quickly. I still feel that sooner or later they're both going to want a ladder to climb down from the perches they're on. Mr. Trump has already said that he's running out of targets to hit. The Iranians clearly are losing one layer after another of their government. In these circumstances, surely if a good group of countries that are not party to the conflict on either side of it could go to both sides and say, for the sake of the world, please call this off, India should be in the forefront.
My final question to you, Dr. Tharoor, is one which is on a topic that is close to your heart. You've followed his journey. You've supported him since his young days. I'm talking about Sanju Samson.
Yes.
You've been there by his side in his tough days. Now, and you've backed him. When he was not scoring, you said that he has the talent. Now he has come good, and at the biggest stage, he's won India World Cup. So, your thoughts on his performance, and how do you look at his journey?
Tremendous pride. You know, I actually met him when he was 14. He was a young club cricketer, small chap, and a big smile. Already quite muscular, though he was slender to look at, and tremendous talent. He was already both wicket-keeping and batting, so I slightly patronizingly told him he would be the next Dhoni. Years later, when I recall that remark, my friend Gautam Gambhir said, no, he doesn't have to be the next Dhoni, he will be the one and only Sanju Samson, and that's exactly what he's turned out to be. He's been a terrific success. Quiet, modest, unpretentious, a good and effective leader. He led Rajasthan Royals very effectively for many years. He is now going to be in CSK in the IPL. But more important, I think, is the stability and the anchoring that he brought to the order, the top of the order for India. When I suffered with him, as it were, during the trials and tribulations, I felt that if he could just compose himself, it would all come back. That core, that essence, and that talent was always there. And what I think I saw in his eyes in that match against Zimbabwe, the moment he began that match, I said, this guy isn't getting out today. I even told him this later because I was watching it on TV, but you could see his eyes, you could see the calmness in his face, that sense of being secure and anchored. And as you know, he went on to 97 not out. He never got out in that match. And his two subsequent semi-final and final performances of 89 each. In both cases, he lost his wicket in a selfless action. If when he got to 89, he said, let me just graft for the next 11 runs, hit the ball around the ground, run the singles, maybe a 4. But he went for the big shots because the team, he felt, needed quick runs. And that's Sanju. He's selfless, he's talented, he's dedicated. And, you know, he's had the knocks. He's really had a lot of bad luck too. I remember he scored a century in an ODI and got dropped after that. The next match after that we played in the ODI, he was not on the team, and his last innings had been a century against South Africa or somewhere. So this is a guy who's had to take a fair bit of unfairness. And yes, some of his exclusions were justified because he'd also been inconsistent. But 3 innings in a row in the World Cup, that's consistency for you. And I would love to see him continue to perform on a big stage, both in ODIs and one day I hope in a test match too, because that kind of talent deserves its fullest expression in every form of the game.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tharoor. 2 questions in Malayalam. So I would like to ask you that now elections have been declared, campaigning is about to begin. You're about to embark on the campaign trail. So what is your assessment of UDF's chances?
നമ്മൾ ഈ ഇലക്ഷൻ ജയിക്കണമെന്നാണ് എൻ്റെ വിശ്വാസം. 10 വർഷമായിട്ട് ജനങ്ങൾ കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ട് ഈ സർക്കാരിൻ്റെ കഴിവില്ലായ. അതുമാത്രമല്ല, ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് പിന്നെ അവരെക്കുറിച്ച് കുറ്റം പറയുന്നത് മാത്രമല്ല, ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് നാളെക്കുറിച്ച് ഒരു കാഴ്ചപ്പാടുണ്ട്. ഞങ്ങൾ കേരളത്തിൻ്റെ ഭാവിക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് ഞങ്ങൾ ഇറങ്ങിയിരിക്കുന്നത്. ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് പല പുതിയ ഐഡിയാസ് ഉണ്ട്. UDFൻ്റെ മാനിഫെസ്റ്റോ വരാൻ പോകുന്നു, പക്ഷേ 5 ഗ്യാരണ്ടി ഇറങ്ങിക്കഴിഞ്ഞു. അതുമാത്രമല്ല, കഴിവുള്ള പ്രവർത്തകർ ഞങ്ങളുടെ പാർട്ടിയിലുണ്ട്. ഞങ്ങൾ കേരളത്തെ മുന്നോട്ട് കൊണ്ടുപോകാനും കേരളത്തിൻ്റെ വികസനത്തിന് വേണ്ടി പ്രവർത്തിക്കാനും ഞങ്ങൾ തയ്യാറാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഈ സന്ദേശം എല്ലാവരും എത്തിക്കണം. ഈ ഇലക്ഷൻ കമ്മീഷൻ നമുക്ക് കൂടുതൽ സമയം തന്നിട്ടില്ല. കഷ്ടിച്ച് 3 ആഴ്ചയിലാണ് വോട്ടിംഗ് ഉണ്ടാകാൻ പോകുന്നത്. പക്ഷേ ഈ 3 ആഴ്ചയിലും നമ്മളെല്ലാ മുക്കിലും നമ്മുടെ സന്ദേശം എത്തിച്ചാൽ, മറ്റേവരുടെ ഇതിൽ നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നു കണക്ക് കൂട്ടാൻ സമയമായി. പക്ഷെ അത് മാത്രമല്ല, ഞങ്ങളുടെ ഭരണം വന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ജനങ്ങളാണ് നയിക്കാൻ പോകുന്നത്, കേരളമാണ് ജയിക്കാൻ പോകുന്നത്. അതാണ് ഞങ്ങളുടെ സന്ദേശം.
My final question, sir, will the collective leadership of the Congress be able to trump the definitive face of Pinarayi Vijayan in Kerala, and is Dr. Tharoor CM probable?
നോക്കൂ, ഞങ്ങളുടെ പാർട്ടിയിൽ നേതാക്കളുടെ എണ്ണങ്ങൾ കുറേ ഉണ്ട്. അവസാനത്തിൽ MLA മത്സരിക്കും. ജയിച്ച ശേഷം അവർ അഭിപ്രായം ചോദിച്ചിട്ട് പാർട്ടി തീരുമാനിക്കും ആരായിരിക്കണമെന്ന് മുഖ്യമന്ത്രി. അങ്ങനെയാണ് ഞങ്ങളുടെ പാർട്ടി പ്രവർത്തിക്കുക. കേരളത്തിൽ മാത്രമല്ല, എല്ലാവരുടെയും അങ്ങനെയാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ട് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് കാര്യമില്ല. ചിലവർക്ക് അവർ ആഗ്രഹങ്ങളുണ്ടാവാം. ഞാനൊരു സ്ഥാനാർത്ഥിയല്ല, ഞാൻ ഈ ഇലക്ഷനിൽ മത്സരിക്കുന്നില്ല. പക്ഷേ ക്യാമ്പയിൻ കമ്മിറ്റിയുടെ ഒരു ചെയർമാനായിട്ട് ഞാൻ എല്ലാവരുടെയും പോയി പ്രചരണം ചെയ്യാനാണ് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. എൻ്റെ ഉദ്ദേശം ഈ 14 ജില്ലയിലും നമ്മൾക്ക് ഈ വരാൻ പോകുന്ന സമയത്തിൽ 140 കൺസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യുവൻസി എത്താനുള്ള സാധ്യതയില്ല. പക്ഷേ 14 ജില്ലയിലും പോയി എല്ലാവരുടെയും സാന്നിധ്യം കാണിക്കലും നമ്മുടെ സന്ദേശം എത്തിക്കലും അതെൻ്റെ ഒരു കടമയാണ്. അത് ഞാൻ പൂർത്തിയാക്കും. അതിൻ്റെ ഒപ്പം ഞങ്ങളുടെ സന്ദേശം എത്തിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ജനങ്ങൾ ഞങ്ങളൊപ്പം വരുന്നതാണ് ഞങ്ങളുടെ പൂർണ്ണ വിശ്വാസം. അതുകൊണ്ട് വിജയം UDFൻ്റെ തന്നെ ആയിരിക്കും.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, sir.
All the best. Thanks.